Mamenchia ye tie for ni ahwefo na no pay. Nyame ya adoma ene nkosi nyame ya adoma echina a lot of matches na bekoso ewo Europe. Na kesepano na bekoso ewo Spain. Barcelona and Real Madrid ewo La Liga ni. Nyame ya adoma echina game no. Ebetime decide league no. Ana nyame ya adoma echina game no so betima miemu se league ni ebesa atwen ana. Because sa o check La Liga table na Barcelona was 79 points. 79 points no more no the first and Real Madrid was 75. The points difference between Barcelona and Real Madrid 4 points. 4 points ne separated are two sides we. It means say Sanyame ya adoma Barcelona winia or they equal 82 points. Or better Real Madrid move 7. It means over for Real Madrid. By Real Madrid winia Madrid at the back 78 points. Now Coca just a point between these two sides. Now Obia train matches akano. So nyame ya adoma echina game no. Ken ye behu say Barcelona be win game a league na say ye be train so ni ya train matches a eda yenim. So what check this season Madrid and Barcelona share 3 times. Omo share wa La Liga e wa Real Madrid fie no Barcelona e ko share ne 4-0. Omo sa ko share wa Copa del Rey Barcelona share Real Madrid 3-2 JSA trophy no. And omo ko share wa Spanish Super Cup Barcelona share Real Madrid 5-2. So this season 3 matches are Barcelona and Real Madrid double no. Aggregate ne akwa 12-4. 3 games ni na Barcelona e win a dominate Real Madrid bobuku no. So a trial said Nancy Omusia this season there, a Barcelona and the good results. And Hansi Flick actually clearly say, baby or Carlo Ancelotti this season biano, or no Hansi Flick, dominate Carlo Ancelotti. Onim kwa ofaso break Carlo Ancelotti Real Madrid. Onim kwa ofaso neutralize yomo, and onim kwa ofaso any good results ahead of Carlo Ancelotti. So between these two coaches, this season Omusia biana. Papa friend say Hansi Flick dominated Carlo Ancelotti, which a fact. I won't mean dispute is a fact no. So we start checking this season omumienu about 34 games over the Spanish Premier La Liga. Barcelona win 25. Madrid win 23. This season we league no. Barcelona has 91 goals. Real Madrid has 69 goals. And the two clubs now conceded 33 each. So clearly so we check two teams in our general performance this season our La Liga. Facts and figures nature say the general performance of Barcelona is better than Real Madrid. And going into this game, so offer Barcelona or share Real Madrid this season or Real Madrid. Now we check your general performance for La Liga. Barcelona is better than Real Madrid. Again, it is so clear. Me sure say obi bia ode no kreka asem obi bia otwe football on use emotions on share the club or supporting the analyzing game no clear say Barcelona and your favorite going into this game who pedo your favorite bibia indicate say Barcelona and your favorite by the bia me woma asem a make can say ye besia kan before say ye besia kan or analyze ya ubenya de your favorite by referee nation na ben na referee ne bon whistle ne say yen game na se bibia timi sesa obi timi pra obi timi di red card bibia timi sesa intipokra no obi wo ho your favorite by game nation esha situation of the game esesa game no. So the fact say Barcelona your favorite ne nche say automatically Barcelona ko win game no by on paper Barcelona your favorite okọ Barcelona fan Baudi etimi ne Barcelona for aye training Baudi enya sa medical green light no see obetima available for selection against Real Madrid. Barcelona phone him say, now saying about the free almost setup ni no about the left side of omu defense one a holy key. How about the influence Barcelona attack no only one no affect Barcelona for because anytime be about the operating or Barcelona setup mbiano or operating as a patrol player. The left side omu jai ho nyina the man because on the best patrol side or the left side na ama Rafinha etimi push inside so anytime be about the ewo game biano obwa ema Rafinha hotono or say influence Barcelona for attack na say ya woni hono clearly na affect Barcelona bobuko no say medical green light na timi aba obeye part of the team but to say obesha ase no and obi anim Lewandowski so push Hansi Flick say opeso o sha ase nyame adom against Real Madrid Barcelona mpanyimfo mpɛ sɛ ɔmbɛ take risk no mama Lewandowski ahyɛ by Lewandowski push sɛ Barcelona betima di league na egyina nyame yɛ adom ɛkyina enti ɔpɛ sɛ ɔhyɛ aseɛ na ɔcontribute na Barcelona win game no na Barcelona timi gye La Liga no enti ɔpɛ sɛ ɔhyɛ aseɛ nyame yɛ adom ɛkyina Barca for no sɛ ɔnta abotre ɔmo mpɛ sɛ ɔmbɛ risky boy no at the same time apart from Lewandowski pɛ sɛ ɔboa ma Barcelona win game no ɔno ankasa ɛdwen ɔno ankasa so ho because ɔsɛ achieve ɔsɛ target the Pichichi Lewandowski ba Barcelona first season on the Pichichi in 2022-2023 season that was the first season the following season a Dovbek and a Beje the third season ye ka Pichichi race na on the lead or 25 goals and Mbappe or 24 onim sanyame ya adom ɛkyina Mbappe be hyase se ono Lewandowski na hyase a play advantage from Mbappe because se Mbappe hyase no onya goal bia na we equal anase wato akye no enti ofili se so hyase a onso betima nya sa advantage no e dia pegu enti o push Barcelona mpanyimfo se on hyase se be ye last season pokra with Barcelona opese o di league no na osaje Pichichi no so Barcelona Baudi and Lewandowski omni two players ye expect say bibia ansesa on betima be wura set happening Hansi Flick say ne star na obono on sesano waka time without don be say debi ansem trofo busa ne say ade na won sesa won sa no coach ne say star na obono how will see attack how will see defend no ono Hansi Flick on sesano by the oye ne say o improve e wo mo style any o approach no ma correct o mo mistake but to say no Barcelona for better say o style of play no on sesano da so e so simple say who kosia Hansi Flick from match day 1 ebesine obi enim kwa Hansi Flick efa so si na akan ensesaye de oye ne say 3 times in pokra we share Real Madrid no ensesaye Hansi Flick opese time bia Rafinha a movie inside Rafinha on paper can there is a difference between formation and roles say ye bobo formation no how ya arrange players on the field of play and na what paper so no and two once ye game na see on paper Barcelona ball 4-3-3 and ye kind of formation by game near cost no role no Rafinha operating no on yet typical left winger and Barcelona she game na se peno mo attack here Rafinha move inside so playing against Real Madrid adia Rafinha be na say o move back inside that or be dragging Vasquez I will be operating as a right back Real Madrid no obe dragging along na a creative space a ho ana Barcelona left back se Baudi na be hyase se Gerard Martin na be hyase no obetima wonya sa space etimi operate the left side so Barcelona attack bia na Rafinha move back inside na wa drag Real Madrid for a right back time bia no Lamine Yamal stay wide because Lamine Yamal no ono no je ball na on fa hu ni players ebeben no se moye mienu moye miensa akraketo na demonstrate a kire say anytime be abaye ne man marking being it 1v1 2v1 3v1 no onu betima take you on because our dribbling skills are on throw be Barcelona phone station Lamine Yamal the right side no no need you ogina ho then Rafinha no be moving inside no oba be Dani Olmo Pedri and Frankie de Jong ho se ombenya numbers won finfin ho na o metimi dominate opponent centrally enti ukosia Barcelona and Hansi Flick or padi e kan central control na wenya numbers and I'm say Real Madrid for impress high no Barcelona for defenders ni etiminya time omutimi pass it around e build it from the back so ukosia Hansi Flick anytime bi okrabo ni bia no de oye ne say yem build it from the back you betima attack it from the left you attack it from the right near dominating opponent in the central midfield area ade ba ko omo say ne say omo pese say player ono ye the key man player who ball ne so Barcelona hu ye hu pa ye Lamine Yamal and the time bia no pese Lamine Yamal onya that space to operate so Lamine Yamal benya that space akwesi broni ka bibi say overloading to isolate so Barcelona for ni person mu creative space ema Lamine Yamal omo attack bia na most of omo players no echo the left side and for see opponent ni manu push by that side na isolate Lamine Yamal so omo je ball na no na Pedri etimi switch play e dey call Lamine Yamal so in Barcelona attacking phase no omo use overload to isolate na Lamine Yamal nya that space to attack so oko check Barcelona kwa omo fa so attack again be anywhere sesa and so far this season Carlo Ancelotti any opportunity ne Hansi Flick share 3 times and me pretty sure say by this time Real Madrid ne Carlo Ancelotti any fair idea about how Ombetima stop Barcelona team no. How Ombetima continue? So it's up to Carlo Ancelotti say for the 4th time this season, my hands flaking bono. Because ain't mean by say Bobo Kakraka to say Real Madrid. Quote Kessie to say Carlo Ancelotti. Not this season. What now am a Barcelona bo bakum yenumi and this season every game be a Barcelona be Real Madrid biano a minimum of 3 goals. No a kind the amount. So for the 4th time, me expect Carlo Ancelotti ni Real Madrid for say Ombetima se so monoma. Keno kai Copa del Rey na course no. The second half performance of Real Madrid uhune saying. Na very good. Even Barcelona for no much Copa del Rey second half no. But now Real Madrid for boy no Madrid for se bibia. Me expecting the same approach from Real Madrid nyame adu mechina. Madrid performance o mu show ye wo Copa del Rey second half no. E wo se eno ana mo de hyase. In that Copa del Rey against Barcelona second half no. Real Madrid for a press Barcelona for man to man very aggressive. Oma Barcelona for na feel comfortable on the ball. And it's over kai second half and now for the Pedri mu who game so. Na Pedri mu ntimi and control game net say the no open because in the second half Real Madrid for press you very well. Madrid for to me win ball no and as that time Madrid for to me crab ball ni bi etimi bobo ni bi so a favor Real Madrid for e ka ho bi and yes Carlo Ancelotti ebema adagule asase so based on the likely lineup asase bobo no me pretty sure say sa Copa del Rey second half performance of Real Madrid no Carlo Ancelotti peso used the same approach at the facing Barcelona nyame yadu mechina so playing adagule Dani Ceballos, Fede Valverde, and Jude Bellingham will finfi hono. Can sa 4 players won't be Real Madrid finfi hono. Nipa for ni to me crabo. Valverde to me crabo on time lusu ball. Dani Ceballos to me crabo on time lusu. Ada Goulet the same thing. Jude Bellingham the same thing. So playing these 4 midfielders against Barcelona no. Oh yeah guarantee and I say oh yeah rest assured say. Ubenya midfielders omunim ball ni kura. Omunim passe. At the same time ubenya a ball carrier and a ball protector. Se Jude Bellingham ekrabo otimi carry ball no among grammar the former midfielders no opobi otimi carry ball ne better pa e de the offensive third and I say opponent ne half Jude Bellingham ubenya no so betima yes ade no Ada Goulet recently I demonstrate actually say u use na man the needed confidence obetima create the amount obetima set the tempo and the direction of play at the amount so Real Madrid betima a ball carrier a ball protector a creator a tempo setter in the midfield playing against Barcelona. So a quite almost so ball Copa del Rey second round no second half no and on a Carlo Ancelotti be use by Carlo Ancelotti decided say or kwa boni defensive game yen na yen kogu akiri yen jai ball ne ma Barcelona na yen ball ne ten koma Vinicius Junior ne Mbappe Barcelona high line no rightly as you said temani ebese program na se no Barcelona is share teams bebree teams need to beat Barcelona for high line defense no by Real Madrid in kwa kushia Barcelona mo high line no I dey so bebreki because one pass na e wo say kwa anim ho no pass ni delay a problem de tosum yenu Real Madrid for players omo anim ho no omo time omo runs so the moment on be runs ni bia no na Barcelona high line no achi omo offside so what's a Real Madrid for eni so omo that style say you defend dia ni abobo ne ten Vinicius kofa Mbappe kofa yes, na we too predictable. Barcelona for feel comfortable on the game. Game back wa. Enye kasatintin biano say oh yeah correct analysis with facts and figures. Na unye biasa ken on paper. Barcelona for ni game na say as favorites. Say bana Barcelona winning game we me to me enye me wanwa. By as a Madrid fan makume mu no me ko hebo na Marco support to me Madrid. Mark Bompire say Madrid be winning by say oh yeah fair. Na pesa ode no kreka asema ken Barcelona for no game na say as favorite win bi baba as a stance na Barcelona for no and was say ombetime win based on omo form omo Barcelona for no enwa na make catch say oma break akra from last month ebesi this month oma bo 11 competitive game that's 1050 minutes it means say every 3 days a 3.5 days be an obo one competitive game and from last month ebesi this month no Barcelona matches some about no mako extra time on 2 times. Inter Milan and Real Madrid no. So definitely omi nipa ombe break akra. By baby edru no enra mekaye. Hansi Flick say the last push what's omo deko. Se Barcelona decide ni nyina to omechi. Na omo psyche omo ho. Na omo de show omo trim say ye Real Madrid da ye La Liga na. Me pretty sure say by this time Barcelona players no omo ye mature no omo experience na kasa kire young guys no a omo de defeat no beto omechi no omo pushy sa last push na against Real Madrid win bi beba mete po Barcelona say omo favorite was a game we mu. Newcastle was St James Park against Chelsea. The Premier League table no emu already yenim the winner dada. But when the Becca Liverpool who qualify for UEFA Champions League next season, Newcastle at the 4th, 63 points. Chelsea so 63 points. Our more points ni na eboso. So what check 2 teams now? Obi a person qualify. It means say nyame aduma weekend we was St James Park between Newcastle and Chelsea. While belusu game ni biano, a big disadvantage edema say obetima qualify for next season UEFA Champions League. Playing was St James Park enye easy. Kinu nim say this season Spurs akwa kolusu. Man City ko hoko ball draw. Arsenal kolusu was St James Park. Liverpool ko ball 3-3. Manchester United kolusu ye. So all the top clubs and also big clubs in Premier League in this season, Obi and Wako for 3 points in St James Park. And it's a Chelsea a part of the top 6 and also top clubs in Premier League. Now Obi and Timin for 3 points in St James Park. Chelsea for him say venue no more kono a wedding. And Chelsea for an Kasabet ma testify to the fact say since 2022 Chelsea in Newcastle fee. Every 2022 the last time at Chelsea Newcastle fee a 3-0. Rhys James eshe 2 goals ana Jorginho eshe baako na under Thomas Tuchel enti imagine Thomas Tuchel free Chelsea up to the Chelsea ntimi ko St James enko share Newcastle bobuko no a Chelsea avenue ni a very difficult venue edema Chelsea by football say they be eka no bibia ye possible enfa won set Newcastle air strong go fie no Chelsea betima kwa wini ade baako ama this season Newcastle for no omo share denene pa na second every style of play o metimi no wabo Newcastle for betime decide say match na mi kwa rim no mebo ultra defensive football enti o betime city deep aye very compact no me jai ball ne dia ma opponent no me use counter dia show enti o mo back four no Dan Ben Fabian Schär Trippier Livramento o betime city deep aye close to o mo goalkeeper no mo three midfielders Sandro Tonali Warlock and Bruno Guimaraes aye very close to the back four then o mo 3 players o mo anim hono Murphy Isaac and Abrante friend say Harvey Benz are acting as floating. And it's almost you close a bet omo winning ball ne pe and am say opponent na attack bebre ni spaces e wo etro no mo de can't etimi how at the same time on betimi no abiem eno abo style be a person on Newcastle bobian this season no ma demonstrate say on betimako but Newcastle for ahoden pa any omo secret weapon the edi kan e how omo press Newcastle for a press high 10 young person omo winning ball no opposition half enti kobusa Manchester United yomo de fa so ye Manchester United omo beta taw and make sure say omo press or one castle half in their high pressing omo combine nyoma miensa omo combine aggression man marking and a cover shadow enti one castle half no omo gina was so the pressure to so no why mistake no ma capitalize or some mistakes no and omo a second weapon omo use ayo omo 3 midfielders no Sandro Tonali Warlock and Bruno Guimaraes. So we could see Newcastle, not Newcastle for 3 midfielders way who's on behalf because a 3 midfielders way no and they protected the back line. A 3 midfielders way and a more forward line department no a relaxing a free. So the moment a matches are lose this season you know a matches on midfielders same who's so say Chelsea bet makwa away. I could pick 3 maximum points at 1. A how a Chelsea bet me crab or no lose boni bebre. Say Newcastle for pressy. And a dear tosu you a how a Chelsea bet dominating the central midfield area. Yebenya Romeo Lavia, Enzo Fernandez, and Abrante Frense Kopama. Say Caicedo betima bo right back, but omo attack here o invert become midfielders no. So Chelsea benya numbers to control. And Nadia Bakwa Newcastle for very good at set pieces, most especially corner kicks, because omo defenders no wa on betima pim the amount. But Newcastle for throw teamer, omo shooting from distance. So me expect Chelsea so betima shooting from distance. By all the no clear Kasema. And so Newcastle she game na say as favorite. Me be we no me will Liverpool ni Arsenal game no. Arsenal was 67 points at the second. Man City was 64 points. Man City kobo Southampton. Man City be win this game no or the be 67 points. No ne Arsenal nya the same number of points 67. Oko Premier League the separating this league no e points aba accumulate. Say a pa a goals difference na ba goals for. Say goals difference no Arsenal plus 33. Man City plus 24. And now which goals for Arsenal 64. Man City 67. So say Arsenal for bet me edi almost second position I was on coach Liverpool team no. Say Arsenal tena ho na Liverpool for sure ma. It means say a play advantage for Manchester City. Already Arsenal co trophyless. Ade omo de betimi de acheche omo ra na ye say omo maintain omo second position. By ain't mean ba say Arsenal co trophyless. Na Man City and the performance this season enso edi no ye be wie season wasaba be overtake you there ebeha Arsenal for padwin because obi last 3 games aka no Arsenal de no obobo Liverpool, Newcastle, Southampton. O de compare Man City de na Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham. And between Arsenal and Man City de na 3 matches ne mu edin pa no Arsenal bobuko no by ken de ehunu ye say onim say since 2012 Arsenal ntimi nko share Liverpool group. The last time omo ko share omo no Podolski and Asante Cazorla. 2012. Now Arsene Wenger na you coach. On last 14 visits, I already call Anfield. Omo ntimi nko share Liverpool. By Liverpool forcing himself match league, you know. Omo lose against Chelsea. Omo ntimi nse lose game against Arsenal. By Arsenal any excuse. Say also omo ntimi konya results ah. Ebetima place omo yi. Say bana Arsenal Man City say before omo nko share de ebe da second de aken. Arsenal for ebe share omo pa because Man City this season enko ya no one start now how my Pep be say on here.
City West season under Pep.
Aye.
No more the second.
No about be the any.
Okay.
Nti be depend on there Arsenal ba koye against Liverpool.
Well, your fairness your na Kwame Jela Edison Bremo kakra na yenin komo kakra.
Better say. Me wo games no asam kakra na mabeka stories so kakra. Is he asamo Ken, the ten say Barca and Madrid game so no. 3 games on Mabo. Every single game will be a Carlo Ancelotti SSBB with regard to taxes. Yet we are not finding any solution. First game 4-0, no. The ten say there was a deliberate plan from Hans Flick. It was a game Yebabe started. Tough game and Yebabe. Tough game na Yebabe. The argument is that okay, Madrid for Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe. Barcelona for high line. Into Madrid for Barca. That was the argument then. Because high line, you cannot play it against Vinicius Junior and Kylian Mbappe. Hans Flick was not perturbed. And a ball high line. Now, it was a trap because Madrid for ninya baller. Sir, Barca for press, omo kekrebia na quickly. No more ball na sim. Omo boy either Barcelona will get the ball back and regain possession to play whatever they want to play or offside. Into that game, omo offside by 12, and then the say offside FC Real Madrid. If you do remember, it was a clear plan. Barcelona ya one day. Yahon Dene said they be a ball because of the ball. Barcelona are no good. Sa Barcelona enkuta baller. Omunye teamwa omunye good. To say, for instance, Inter Milan Sabono enkutanwa or ye good elho. Team will be an in profile. There are teams that off the ball, they are excellent. There are teams that with the ball, they are okay. Barcelona with the ball, they are okay. It is a one day they said they be a kuta ball ni a controller. How do we quickly get the ball from Real Madrid? Yen set some trap. Highline ye bar. They will quickly play long balls. They got the better out of it. Almost easy. Because on paper, you catch now say, basketball highline partner Vini. Mbappe. No when team you will be surprised. But that's how football tactics works. Hansi has not changed. Games of Maboni, he has not changed. Now Hansi, what baffles me in a second? Sa highline, no a Bobby wo Bayern Munchen. But at Bayern Munchen, Joshua Kimmich ball right back. Left back here, Alphonso Davies. Jerome Watson, and David Alaba 4 and 5. But you know how the highline, the man is successful. And they say, King, David Alaba overpays you. And they had a better sweeper goalkeeper in Manon Neuer. Inti omo high line it was successful because Sabono who born high now beat offside now. Anya bia Alaba will pay Jerome Watson only pays but Alaba will pay so no compliments no. And I'm no was sweeping. But when we know what just says he said Anya better sweeper sir. In any case, Pau Kubasi ni Nigo Martinez they do not have the pace yet the high line has been successful. Now, you push him right nim kakra. And now your ball game 3-2. Ken, Carlo Ancelotti, sa 4-4-2, a yaka one some, and now about 4-3-3. The last time I boy, about 4-1-4-1. Because before the game, the argument is that Carlo Ancelotti be called 4-4-2. You who line up who saw Jude Bellingham, and then I'm thinking I thought it was going to be Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, but game no I cost no. It was rather 4-1-4-1. Chouameni. Excellent defenders will pay. And this brings me to this argument to say, it looks like Carlo Ancelotti is beginning to understand and accept the fact that midfield one we cannot stop them with midfield. And again, I understand it. It is Sadia. Debia there should one be defensive midfielder Bakua. He is sitting in front of our defenders. Nejumane said Danny Obo Oberman Makino. And see, the last game we played, it was Chouameni following Danny Olmo. Baby Obefe Bihana O follow. Today, Rudiger Moboni Chouameni would have to go back as a centre back. Not Onkoba as a centre back. So Koba as a centre backer. Not just say either Freddy Valverde and now also said Danny Ceballos. As I said, Baku mom and defenders name. Because I almost flat midfielder. They be a Barcelona for spaces behind the midfielders. Sadly, no more mobile body beer, or me dangerous, they will harm you. It's Debiano from at least from the last game, I'm sure you did our last game, we all can testify, say, games or more body in our last game, then I better kakra. And I'm it is from the narration of the last game, I am assuming it's Carlo Ancelotti will continue having one player sits in front of the defenders, Debia. In this game, I would want to go for Danny Ceballos, Sonia Sajumana, Sefedi Valverde, Jumano. Then Jude Bellingham and Danny Ceballos, in this case, Sefedi Valverde, Nejina, at Sepreka number 6. Wejina Omwenim. Then Kylian Mbappe as number 9. Vinicius Junior operating from the left wing. Now, this is where I want to say, Sevini, Ojineni Wonkwana Emfa, left wing one, and one in a natural position. Ken, this time around, Vini is not coming up against Jules Koundé, who has been a tormentor for him. This game against Eric Garcia. I'm not saying Eric Garcia is a bad player, but between Koundé and Garcia, so you Vinicius Junior now Obia, Obama hard time with Panwa, Koundé, not Garcia. It is a sensible game. We are who said Vini and Sanswe who game no so. Then I'll begin to know Sakwananga this season. No, onye na dream so bebo nibi. Onye na dream so bebo because Ken, truth be told, Barcelona scores a lot of goals, and this game they will score goals. You cannot stop them from scoring. Miraculously, they know how to do it. Hafinya, you call international break by or more ball was the ball not but he's still gaining the numbers. Hafinya, once you call international break by the ball now is stabile. But numbers still he is getting it because Barcelona will create chances. And the chances creation, you cannot stop them. Lamine Yamal creates a lot of chances. And you be a born no but Dani Olmo, they always find spaces. And you know Lewandowski person Bobo Nibino. Say Pichichi no so we'll have a conversation about that. With Diagra, Mbappe befa Pichichi ne Diako. You cannot stop Barcelona from scoring. But one thing we can also say, Barcelona defense, are porous. But the difference between Barca and Madrid, they say, Barcelona creates such goals, Madrid for na simple pass, na obi wa over touch it, wa over pass it. There's a set of dribble, na wakobo shot. They also hold you onto the ball, no wako pass it. Decision making up front. Look, Mbappe, Vini, Jude Bellingham, nobody can doubt their qualities.
But if they, I heard two players because previous season Toni Kroos mo Benzema mo Benzema eboma Vini na wase abeji now obi mo ma Vini meji oje ball na no de ko oni Mbappe omo ntimi pass ball ni what omo passing
say omo nye good passes
omo ni ball ne pass
yeah
enti ball no space no omo de ball no yede ti Madrid je ball nche
yeah jibo ni
from but omo brain omo asen yede agene back
the last game Madrid boy we say I was complaining say after scoring 3 goals against Celta Vigo omo jibola instead of to hold on to the ball
omo didi amike
obi ajibola na no the ball inti Madrid jibola omo nche possession omo jibola less than 15 seconds ni ajibola ni dey free omo nsem but omo no be jibola omo bre that has been their problem. That is why America second. Nobody doubts the qualities of Jude Bellingham, Vini, Kylian Mbappe, and those boys out front. But the problem is say they need to play as a team. Anytime Mubiana midfield a Jibola, Vinicius Junior better than in Sasa pass the ball from you. I Mbappe bell running self about you. Sometimes they would have to pass the ball around. Say a quick pass that they will do it. But I say Obia Preno ho and saying Ken Mbappe peg Pichichi Agino. And I know say too he wanted hat trick. But what I say, Vini is not okay with numbers. It's also so per numbers. It's the quest for goals and assists, the quest for names. And sometimes, make us all the time, sometimes a Madrid team, you know.
So now Mbappe or 24. Lewandowski or 25. Lewandowski did try some when you team abo be. And of course obo be and chances so be go because they won't create chances more no. Madrid team no Vini omone Mbappe omo adwum so betima manage go kin.
Ken the Etienne say Mesre at this stage enye Carlo Ancelotti. And they say catch Real Madrid players and they say they need to play for Kylian Mbappe. You see, these are things players that one can say unity with team anymore. You don't need the coach to come and tell you that. Players say okay, say penalty duties Kylian Mbappe bebo. Se pass the biwo na obvious now the member striker no. Na so uncle say no give see you have to play for him because Nyame Antuma Lewandowski Gina Park no so they would equally do that for him. See that one I agree. Say Mbappe say be a starting season he was struggling but how what first so be say 24 goals ayo bia wan say 25 goals say Lewandowski say ya go kini so betimi age so ntimi ngi last 2 years o say 23 goals or the Pichichi but this time around 25 goals is not enough. Nature says someone is competing with Lewandowski very well. It's and the Pichichi they can until the last game bibia betimi esi a game one entire looks like 80% of football pundits agree says say Barcelona was the advantage. The problem Barcelona will have when they say Barcelona are fatigued or more brutal. Barcelona can or more bre. And the plan on the Medibera game when they said they would try to hold on to the ball more. The more okuta ball no or Jena whom you own to recovery. It's a Barcelona idea. Say Uncle Brebre will give him say obe possible ni bebre. And none of Madrid work rate in the Barcelona for suffer. Because if Madrid runs more, omu chase Barcelona for no ball free omuntem and sometime na ball omu moving more. Barcelona will suffocate after 60 minutes. But my biggest question is Madrid beats Nyaya. Will Madrid overrun Barcelona? And no need problem this is because Madrid for be chasing Barcelona throughout the game. Barcelona will get tired. But I doubt if they will do that. Can game where them say maybe La Liga ni over. Me who be big giddy be a bit yes.
Barca be
double chance them.
Double chance Barca.
Because honestly, unless miracle.
So win or draw. Barca.
Okay.
Adolson.
Game okay. There. Madrid for defense that poor. You know, I mean, so Eddie, I think Madrid for would have to come back next season and give us a better performance with Jabi Alonso. That's say Arsenal for air build Spanish Empire. Omo build Real Sociedad Anest. Na Ateta no ofi Sociedad wa na enye me wanwa. 4 years ago, Martin Zubimendi. Can't hear me, Zubimendi. Mikel Merino, Martin Odegaard, and an AF midfielders at the Real Sociedad. Odegaard, Mikel Merino, Martin Zubimendi. These were the midfielders for Real Sociedad. Today, next season, they are going to be the midfielders of Arsenal. Some midfield way, na omo pass omo ho. Kene ko dre ni mu a unim de omo pass ball ne de man e de ball ne to atnim. Alexander Isak. It's sa dream midfield no. Arsenal fo enya. Aka Alexander Isak na fe omo tam Real Sociedad team no e de aba be she Arsenal team no. Na Arsenal midfielders omo top better for the past 2 years ni nyina no. Obian Kami Bebre Chise Martin Zubimendi because he's direct replacement for Thomas Partey.
Now,
look,
Omone Zubimendi and come on a question, you know.
Oh,
I just said Partey contract a year toss now, much as you know. Ombeja Chedi.
A yanima munu either say Ombejano Quine Amanako or Obetsna Ketiasu.
Or Jorginho ko Flamingo.
Because Jorginho Eko. Arsenal, they've always been trying to reshape their midfield. Partey, Xhaka, Martin Odegaard. Time a Xhaka free wa. Omuni neni nemu maybe na Jorginho de obefe mu kakra. Who say oba January because they did not have hope in Fabio Vera and Smith Rowe and pneumonia there. But Declan Rice banana Orbano. Declan Rice or number 8. Don't know bet me about number 6. The profile nenye Thomas Partey DNB. Mikel Merino na or number 8. Don't bet me about 6 but 10. But the profile nenye Thomas Partey DNB. Maybe what I say. The only profiler is similar to Thomas Partey. Our Arsenal. Jorginho. And Jorginho is so all free club with the Mwako. In me all this while I am not perturbed because I felt say na Zubimendi ebi Jabi Alonso the number Madrid. But Zubimendi bana obana a direct profile ne style no a Partey DNA bia inti say Zubimendi ba then we are looking at Zubimendi, Odegaard, Mikel Merino he made for a Declan Rice he made because Merino the Minya so be to Declan Rice. Majority the Micho say but say Arsenal will have 3-man midfield of Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Odegaard. Omwechi, Mikel Merino. So Arsenal are building not just a midfield for the first 11, but a midfield about free one for Frobetinya Sanswabo. And I feel very bad for me near Thomas Partey. He would have to take a decision because in Arsenal it looks like they've had a disappointing season. But Andrew Beta is working. Say Omoko for Juan Garcia. Espanyol goalkeeper no. Espanyol goalkeeper no Madrid for no more peno. Se Lunin free wa. Goalkeeper Madrid person kofa no sa goalkeeper no. Number for air peno. Arsenal are convincing the guys that's not David Raya. Oh, what they are doing, I think it is good. Now, I can't even if they finish with Martin Zubimendi here now, I can't left winger and the center forward. There's a open Nico Williams, Alexander Isak. Isak then a year open Benjamin Sesko. Charlie, if Arsenal are able to do this, I think said they are on the right path. Ken, EPL day. Normally, on a normal EPL season, a cut 3 games are in case of pressure. Baby, Liga, relegation, Champions League. But I say, dear, League, Omo free relegation Omo sa mo kra de omo nka ho bi senye sa senka relegation battle ni gina so pa Manchester United or the 15th, Tottenham or the 16th, West Ham United or the 17th, 15, 16, 17 Man U, Spurs, West Ham. In the relegation battle no sanka so a on say enka we are discussing Manchester, Tottenham, West Ham United attached to it. But it is exactly. But it is always it is done. In Tinka, ideally, first and second or Premiership airborne weekend. I am normal game. Liverpool Arsenal. I am normal game. So I say the only argument, the only sort of something we want to be inquisitive about the race for the Champions League. The Newcastle, Chelsea, and a big game. Because City versus Southampton, possibly. And Nottingham Forest also on Leicester City. I'm just hoping because Nottingham Nanzai who we their last 5 games. I'm drop your points, baby. It's sad. Their last 5. Tottenham pen on Marshall. Nottingham form no abba form. Inti Leicester City there. I am assuming say Anye Biano they will account for them. Now brings back the Chelsea Newcastle game. Ken, no question me woman say. First of all, I don't want to pick the lineup. Remember when some Moises Caicedo in right back. A big mistake. Sa style na omu coach in person rotate kakra into Romeo Lavia, Enzo Fernandez for engineer the double pivot. Moises Caicedo engineer right back. Send be obey invent ama Enzo Fernandez akonenim. Moises Caicedo in this game is needed in the midfield because Newcastle a physical side. Newcastle ye team one in a bar over 90 minutes we no. Once a place no will need 1 day off. Obemo wa break. The Newcastle said midfielders are available. Nasan Kenya injuries are Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Nankebia Winya Jolinton, Ombema but Jolinton is not fit. So we are looking at midfield today of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and maybe Joe Willock. But Newcastle will run on a 90 minutes or through Mikabebri. Okay. And also Buga, especially St. James wanted their king. When he said the last 3 at Chelsea, Chelsea aji 1-0 baako, 4-0 baako, 2-0 baako. Inti aya grounds at Chelsea and farewell ewo. And I mean just imagine because Ken say Chelsea lose game when they and come on the best sakra. I think say Chelsea should chase say anye biani if they do not pick the 3 point. At least Omufi Stadium what they should pick.
Omu Manchester United.
Man you they say o ma
no
and last game no Nottingham game no na serious.
Nottingham Forest.
Ti say no. There I can say I was say Chelsea for anye bia kwata draw. Because man you attention away Europa and I think say Chelsea will account for them. Now Omako train the last game they drew then we'll have a conversation about that. But this game Chelsea should not lose.
Well,
they should not lose. And you no cry.
Chelsea not Newcastle.
Newcastle, Ken. Yeah.
Yan fairness you meba yan che ba betwa na booking course and so but mamene bigi enim komo kakra bigi. Now what you say?
Nyame adom baby aboko.
Boss enim komo kakra.
Yan shem komo na say emfam free Spanish La Liga ni mo. Real Madrid ne Barcelona e ba bishia. Ken se ukushia team now na bo continually in the same season. Now I shall to 3 times At the SSA say you have to go into the game with an A game. An A+ performance. And I was a Real Madrid crocodile a so game anymore. Players I feel some make a difference. They are Real Madrid. Number 1, Thibaut Courtois. This season, he's been a standout performer for Real Madrid. He is the reason in Real Madrid they competing for the Spanish La Liga. Balls never banaso, pressure never banaso. But he always tries his possible best. So best stand it to the test. And the Real Madrid bobo kono. And the Thibaut Courtois be Juma. Real Madrid. Then again, there is a problem with the Real Madrid defense because Rudiger, who arguably a performance this season and the previous seasons, but they won't pan to so say. I brand anymore in as much as say previous seasons they better change this season no and yeah bad. But unfortunately, Onya available obetimi. So there's going to be a makeshift player in the shape of Tchouameni, and Raul Asensio, and a Bejina Chilonum, and the Real Madrid. Ken. Another player is also making sure so better to the party at the Madrid. Some of the results should be Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, best Spanish La Liga, there was that kind of hype, any attention. And Abrante, not just hype. No, actually, he's a goal scoring machine. Our French League animal no deba. It's in the performance they was show. He stepped into the Real Madrid club. Ashasiano, not near man as expected. there was a bit of pressure on the player. Now, man for can't say baby. Kylian Mbappe morning yet. He has been a flop at Real Madrid. A fair performance this shall say Eba on the right. Goals this shall say Eba. Now, the America. So he has to be at the party for Real Madrid. Senema beko yama Madrid in a sense that. So all the last Clasico no mo boy na. Kylian Mbappe was the man who did that firepower about Real Madrid and Nimu in the first half. Now Neman Kwanka from Real Madrid, the performance wasn't good. But in the second half, I brought Kylian Mbappe Belmono. He was the man, not all pressure ahead the Barcelona defense. Aside, he was the person that know to be pet. A yet channel to be me as an attacker. No one receiving the right balls at the right time. No, they had the defense of a Barcelona. It is our firepower and the confidence in Real Madrid in the second half. Only Barcelona Gina toe to toe at the boy at the point that Real Madrid dominating game. It was Kylian Mbappe and this had the Real Madrid and Nimu. He brought that sharpness at Real Madrid and Nimu, scoring 24 goals in a debut season. For a club like Real Madrid, I was Spanish La Liga. I feel that he's that trump card for Real Madrid and he has to be at the party. Say Madrid Bepe, so Benya a winner. Ken, in the Italian Serie A, and there was one game, I call so AC Milan and Bologna. AC Milan gradually performance na shall see a pija. So why AC Milan? The last 6 matches are AC Milan are bono in all competitions. We're winning 5. But AC Milan team at the start of the season. Even under Consensa will not name and conquer. Or Beshaba couldn't a channel to be share. Name why a day the ama AC Milan at the point. Now AC Milan Jenny Qualify to qualify for Europa. Now was some of the attention in the Coppa Italia. So no munya qualification at the first channel that back door nobody copy me Europe because qualifying for the top 4 spots they be difficult. But as we speak, AC Milan apart from Coppa Italia final. Atimi asa abon homodia say sia possible say AC Milan betimi qualify for Europe next season even on the league log looking at performances of other clubs that don't so nanim okita 60 points omo dan anim no 63 and possibly the best will other matches and after the next 3 matches in the Italian Serie A no clearly AC betimi anya qualification even on the league to qualify for the Champions League and sa na be power the Coppa Italia and so one of the teams they free last season ever Omaya consistent with Italian Serie A Bologna. It is a Ushia Bologna though AC Milan fee but the AC Milan we have seen this season any team now betimi anya GDA bebre so betimi beat Bologna to it at the start of the game especially in the first half now the midfield of AC Milan ain't me handle one midfielder Bologna Bobo Kunum Remo Frula or control game in the Bologna. He is the reason in Tiana Bologna ever all the possessions game in the first half especially. And the defense of AC Milan now a bit poor. May assure say the injury of Fikayo Tomori affected the team. Almost share game in Arsenal. And on your head injury in the 14th minute. And on we changes man bemo. Other defenders at this season, Omatimi Jinam in his absence, Amaniama Concaino, no Muntimia Sardiano, Pavlovich especially. The kind of space Audema Ossolini. So Bologna this season now pe player Makina. Ossolini had that player as a what game. Any attention and so Timmy corner so he's been the best player for Bologna this particular season. He scored 13 goals. And as a winger, the top scorer. And so the Bologna Bobo clearly a China Modima or you'll be pacey. He's a good dribbler. Such players, you almost so much space. But time also leaning far bono, not Pavlovich, a man that space. A bit me a man done in Honor facing the 1-on-1 and no beating it to it and no ball into the tomb. Adiabakwe Mamani Jinami Haley for AC Milan has been that kind of confidence. And that's never say die spirit in their last 6 matches. Bo AC Milan, just like the Barcelona team, in the last 6 matches again. Kopem say a bepon game no. Untimi nyasa GBN to so game no one win. The last league game they played against Boboko friend said January. Now AC Milan Boboko ne da form in the dying numbers of the game. Omo bete can win it 2-1. And now after so omo call from 1-0 in the second half. And a coach considers how changes. Changes Samuel Chukwueze and then player I friend says Santiago Jimenez were the difference makers for AC Milan. Omo bar game Omo the best side the face of the game. Emma Niama turning in favor of AC Milan Boboko no. Obi oda from Kabako. Now ya book game naka 20 minutes. Amaya pong. Now for AC Milan ababa beteka. Santiago Jimenez came from the bench in the 65th minute. Obama 73rd minute. And Obete Kandema AC Milan. Now Oma draw parity. aka kwan a AC befa so na wanya that match winner to give them the confidence in the subsequent games. Said they be on betimi anya GDA ni still on betimi qualify for the Champions League. People have to stand to the test. There comes Christian Pulisic, a superb performance and ra. On also Babeja that 2-1 goal and so the man AC Milan and Sana Branty if anything Jimenez and so Babesha the third goal. One thing about him I have loved and they say at the start I want to carry a AC Milan no or buy na niema konkan now or share. But at a point Obaba even a third person and I say a third force the AC Milan striking department. Obi Oba was starting here instantly. Now all my goals, you know. After Luka Jovic Muni now Bojano, League mo, Coppa Italia mo. He was on the bench, one complaining. He's worked hard, getting the opportunity again. And now, Abrantene proved he's that quality striker. AC Milan bet me I rely on. And then again, one player, and I'm really impressed with the performance. Ya born a champagne baby, Jao Felix. Ken and no Branty anymore the mono any that timely runs a player be here e will game mu no the be Juma the aboa the team no manya results no a Branty any yes Juma no eventually go na Christian Pulisic share him. He was the man of ball shot and a defender I didn't hokai and sana eba beto Pulisic and mama nache it's the Jao Felix so so now you born a cheap baby so started very well but at the point na near man kon kind from manano yesterday was at the party and good for AC Milan almost so to be for the 3 maximum points Abu push you on the league ladder this year they are confident so the subsequent matches and near kon kaya on betimi qualification our Champions League if only when other teams near dom anymore and near man ko yam fam maybe more Ken Napoli any Inter Milan, the race for the Italian Serie A title, and so Baba be keenly contested. So why Napoli in Suswa? And you may kind of Napoli pa. After picking coach FNS Antonio Conte, one who knows the Italian Serie A very well, now near my kind, and so the man anytime he steps in the Italian Serie A. The last 6 matches Omabo, Oma making sure some Mubetimiania 5 wins. And so Italian Serie A anymore. Fortunately for them, the last game they played Omoko away, Ekokobo Leche. This time around, almost tenefie. If you know Motinano, omni my friend said Genoa. And so and the airborne. Genoa in the last 6 matches were winning just 1. Ken wa draw 1. And I will lose Marco 4. It is a born Napoli. Oh no, I have very good. I will fear away in the last 6 matches. Baby Obeko be a 5 or sha. Oh, a problem. Inter Milan on the other hand, and so no. That kind of a team on only bought this particular weekend, relatively compared to Genoa. Chain Napoli diano because Obo Torino this season has been better than Genoa.
Okay.
It is Napoli no one your opportunity year you have no option say Obeche and Inter Milan and so far away
Inter lose Liga na
Ken baby I drew it there
3 points 4 games to go
a bad day say make us Inter beat me the league no because manager na
omo concentration for Champions League
Champions League so honum na adwini nyina akodi ye because omu feel say Champions League trophy
but he'll do baby normally 5 points
the consistency na Napoli show you know Inter Milan and Milan show a typical example here they now worker so omu the attention for Champions League so when you get divided attention a better thing say nema betimi akon kan the amount e wo league ni mu but Napoli are di ne home common only had that ambition of winning the Italian Serie A e honum no ma dwen ene omu focus ne omu bibia
na no me be hu say Antonio Conte be ball Inter for Barcelona call Barcelona ko ball 3-3 no obebo ma Barcelona so much Italian football nim me tie Conte din na say o pa che say nkofo no mo hwe we be ball
am for match no ko
ni semna no keka na je say o ball ma Barcelona Champions League na ye mu ya de
o che o de fie de me fa nti mo for ma adwin ko Europe honum na be ball mo. And I think say performances are here from both teams, you know. It's a clear indication. So Napoli and Abrez over the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan focus. Aqua could the Champions League. So it is how Napoli now what's Tenefie. Looking at performances are what 9 in the last 6 matches. You move 5, say you home, say we need now sha. Now your opportunity but Genoa. Our no the last 6 matches are but we win 1, we draw 1, and I will lose 4. A advantage the mount. So Beshe. Inter kwa away or kwa the BCBA on one asem. Focus on your own. Say our destiny kita. O destiny kita interview. Na wa heard say on Lucy. Na wo mna me fa ho. E kita wo ankasa. O hye de aka na waju league.
Ye mu bi so pe playoff no. Ye mu bi pese Inter Napoli belusu 1 game. Na Inter share. Na omakwa na obi a hye ne de na omakwa because first leg home 1-1. Napoli fie. Another draw ɛwɔ ɛyɛ interfere enti ɛwɔ Italy ɔmo use goals no ɛyɛ straight playoff na nka ɔmo de ɔmo kɔ Olympico Rome na ɔmo akɔbɔ final te sɛ because playoff n sɛ ebi wɔ La Liga no La Liga deɛ no ɛyɛ head to head nso ɔmo mmienu bi wɔ asɛ ne nyinaa ntumi ama playoff betumi aba yɛn ho bi da yɛn ntaa ho playoff ana
sure but me sure say Petanopi said the omo na onya adwene omo feel say opportunity na ba no take lead
one day omo me playoff
because keep playoff the betimi akọ either way say Inter for final game
said it is a final it is a trophy season
and America say for final game na Inter ne Napoli bo a betimi a different ball game
again be just say you say Arsenal and Liverpool for now points here pay you goes for free you head to head you BBB free mo you ball league ni we no omo yi nyina pay aka last game you so omo me no nkobo what be so you could be
Waji league no and America say as a neutral
as a league ni bi wa ye hu bi so mo yi head to head goals na straight points mo ben so wi ayen ko hwe bi mo nkomo ye de mo ko neutral grounds na mo ko match me
as a neutral de nke be ye de e be ye fe
ba fans ne
de
o ma koma
because enya kokoye sa playoff na e be den so obeka say Napoli be fa trophy no Inter with that experience and the kind of resilience they have shown.
But I Inter my manager no Simone Inzaghi no one of games and local games no akwaro master
and America no so resilient nature no match especially when it gets to the knockout phases of the Champions League no clearly o match say about one of and I say yem for bibi dia o mani in this particular season
okay
AC Milan na do ma fa kwan bone so kakra and so but even with that Campono Inter has shown that kind of resilience and I believe say e be dey the Napoli when it gets to that particular stage
so two good support to Inter ni nyina no se ba bi adu so mo ta Inter chi na o mo afri ho the last 2 weeks
Champions League ni mu no
nipa na support Inter we are just na making especially Kruma
and America say
me pa kire say nipa na support Inter you mu say na so Barcelona 2 games no more supporters pa in just say omoto omochia for league and omatwe omo
oh me sure so omo assignment
omo ni hokora bi
na assignment dey basa dey some Madrid for it did assignment dey Barcelona game
omo fa Inter ho bi
dey bi omo no bowie
okay
omo to kwata omo pai okay it the assignment dey Europe omo wie say adwuma no I believe say Napoli has that advantage omo make sure say en sleep na playoff ni nkonko bem because e be ba playoff ni dia e be dey say Napoli be fight Italian Serie A
me da say biggie ani boss no ye fa no nso na me ne nkomo kakra amofa na o ho te say
Ken nyame adumi bia bɔ kɔ
boss FA Cup games ne ba so